Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new elite family of woods and irons from Callaway.
Welcome into Golf Central. I am Matt Adams. Haley Hunter and Tripp Eisenhower will join me in just a moment. So as the currents of professional golf continue to churn, significant changes are on the horizon. As for the first time in more than 40 years, in fact, since the start of the All-Exempt Tour in 1983, those keeping their card would drop from 125 to 100 at the conclusion of this season. That raises the question of who will sink and who will swim. Now, the tour stops in Northwest Illinois this week for the John Deere Classic. Coverage coming your way at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. And the summer temps are going to be tough this week for the field. Upper 80s and low 90s most of the week are expected, with an occasional stray thunderstorm in the forecast. Most of the world's top players will be taking the week off before they head overseas for the Scottish Open and then the Open at Royal Portrush. But with the reduction of tour cards from 125 to 100 and the race for the FedExCup playoffs, there are still plenty of big names in the field, including Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, Max Homa amongst them. While two-time winner Ben Griffin is one of the higher-ranked players in the field. Haley Hunter is on site for us all week. And Haley, aside from the glory and the spoils, of course, awaiting the winner this week, I take it that plenty of players in the field have a lot in their mind.
Yeah, they certainly do, Matt. Thanks so much. There are just 3 more full-point events in the U.S. this season leading up to those FedExCup playoffs. And so this is a really critical time, as this is the last of the 3 here at the John Deere Classic, for players to start getting into that top 70, to start earning some more points. And 80% of the field here this week is not in that top 70. So the clock is really starting to click for a lot of these players that know how important it's going to be this week to put together a handful of rounds and try and sneak themselves into that top 70. One of those players is the defending champion here, actually, Davis Thompson, who is currently right on that bubble, ranked 70th in the FedExCup standings right now. I had a chance to talk with him a little bit earlier, as well as a few of those other bubble players like Ricky Fowler, about what their mindset is going into round 1 tomorrow.
It's kind of inevitable to try to not think about it, but, just trying to manage the day-to-day operation and just try to prepare the best I can each day, and hopefully, get off to a good start Thursday, Friday, and put myself in a good position.
We know the time frame, know where we're at in the season, but good golf solves a lot of things. So, looking forward to this week and then going over the pond for the British and being at, Portrush, and then we'll kind of figure out in the next couple of weeks what the plan will be post-British, because obviously you want to be in the playoffs, but you also want to be fresh and ready to go play. But if we need to play leading in, then we're going to play.
Not a lot of chances left, and we have this week and Scottish, 3M, Wyndham, and that's really it. So, this is kind of that final push. So, every week and every point is really important at this point. And, top 70 is important, but for sure looking at that top 50 and top 30 mark. So, need to play well every week from here on in.
What kind of mindset are you trying to have, given just where you're at right now in the standings?
Just the old saying, winning takes care of everything. So trying to give myself chances to win every week and, see if I can go out there and do that.
Well, one player who certainly does not have to worry about making the top 70 in the FedExCup standings this season is, of course, Ben Griffin. He's the best player in the field this week and is currently ranked 6th in those FedExCup standings, as well as has made the top 15 in every start, 7 of his last 9 starts, that he has played in. So Ben Griffin playing some really great golf right now. And while he doesn't have to worry so much about that top 70, what he is really focused on right now is making the top 6 in those Ryder Cup standings for Team USA. I talked to him a little bit earlier about that, as well as why swinging a little bit harder at the ball might just be the key to helping him make that top 6.
Yeah, I think it was kind of last year I was getting more familiar with the golf course kind of as the week went on. I feel like you can't play most golf courses enough to learn all the different breaks and tiers in the greens and stuff. So, I feel like this year I'm very familiar. Going back to last year, just have that experience. And so this year it's kind of the same thing. And, yeah, we know the scores are going to be low this week. They are every year at the John Deere, so I've got to get off to a hot start and make a ton of birdies.
I know you're not a big stat guy, but you mentioned a few weeks ago you've been trying to keep tabs more on your driver distance, comparing it to other players. You mentioned you ranked 4th at the U.S. Open in driver distance. How are you keeping up with that, and what kind of goes into making sure that you're maintaining that consistency with how far you're hitting it?
Yeah, staying consistent in the gym is important for me. Going to the range and being conscious of trying to swing a little bit harder, trying not to, it's easy to go to the range and kind of have lazy swings and just kind of get loose and then go. For me, I try to focus towards the end of my practice sessions on swinging a little bit harder, try to gain a little bit more distance. And I've kind of been steady since the U.S. Open. I haven't necessarily gained that much, and I want to gain a little bit more, but sometimes it's the way it goes. You got to listen to your body sometimes when you're traveling and trying not to push yourself too hard. But I do feel pretty good this week, and I'm excited to get out there and try to swing hard and take out some bunkers.
We're 6 weeks away now from trying to make that top 6 for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. Yeah. How much is that on your mind, and how confident are you that you can crack that top 6?
Yeah, it's definitely on my mind. People mention it every week now. They're like Benny Bethpage or whatever. I've got all sorts of nicknames now. It's pretty fun. Look forward to seeing you on the Ryder Cup. But no, I've got to continue to play well. I think it's important to continue to play and stay competitive and stay sharp leading into that. So I'm obviously playing a lot of golf, just trying to continue to prove that I'm one of those best players to be on that team. And, fortunately there's a ranking system and I can earn my way into those top 6 spots. So I'm just trying to earn as many points as I can between now and then. Got this week with a lot of points on the line. Got the British Open with a lot of points on the line. So just got to continue to play well, keep the pedal down, as I always say, and just have fun with it.
As Ben Griffin tries to swing a little bit harder at the ball in order to keep up with some of the furthest hitters out here on the PGA Tour, what better player for him to be paired up with over these next couple of days than Aldrich Potgieter, who's coming off his very first PGA Tour win at the Rocket Classic in Detroit last week. He is the furthest hitter on the PGA Tour right now by far, by a whole 7 yards. And so if Ben Griffin can be anywhere near him where he is hitting off the tee into the fairway, Matt, I think he's probably safe to say he's in a good spot.
Well observed, Haley. Thank you very much for that report. Excellent job. All right, let's take a look at the John Deere's recent field rating. Now, a field rating is a numerical value that indicates the strength of the tournament field. The higher the number, the better. And you can see over the last few years, the field has been trending upward for the John Deere Classic. There are, in fact, 7 top 50 players in the field. This week, there were none back in 2022. All right, so we're joined now by Tripp Eisenhower. So, Tripp, the PGA Tour now has a unique model as a major league sport in that outside of the playoffs, it has important events and then a series of more important events. These tournaments are then called the signature events. So all of the metrics that we're seeing so far are suggesting that it's worked, that it's connecting with the fans because they want to see top players play against each other more often. And I would say, is it not fair to ask you the question if this have more structure is also strengthening these full field events?
Yes, but to pin it only on the signature events is unfair, I think. The signature events have played a role because they've limited starts. They have made the tour less competitive, not more competitive. And that's the problem. And so, yes, okay, by making the tour less competitive in certain events and limiting spots, there's fewer opportunities. So, of course, it's going to help some of the full field events. But just like cutting cards from 125 to 100 is going to make the Korn Ferry Tour next year a lot better fields because there are going to be 50 PGA Tour players playing the Korn Ferry Tour that would have been playing the PGA Tour.